Hey, I'm just going to be doing a quick beer review here because I have the opportunity to review these side to side. I just wanted to get this on the channel for record keeping purposes. And I think this will be a fun one. I have two leading pale ales in the game, and I want to they're literally head to head here. One of them is a little bit old for my taste, but I'm still going to do this and see how I feel about the comparison. Here we go. You got two Titans here in the Pale Ale game, Pseudo Sue and 4 Point. These are leading Pale Ales in the beer world. And, what's funny is I got them within a relative window so I could review each and, see how they do. And again, this is a little old. It's over 3 months old. I don't love that, but I'm going to try it anyway. I mean, you can't usually get these beers like at the same release window all the time, so it's tough to do that. So we're going to do the Trillium in here, and we're going to do the Pseudo Sue in here. Now, the Pseudo Sue it's a little old, but again, I think it's young enough to try this review, and I bet the Trillium is going to definitely be hoppier, but I want to look a little bit deeper than that and see if there's anything else that I can gather when I do this together. And luckily they're smaller beers, so it doesn't impact my day. Back in the day, there were times where I would do stout face-to-faces, and I was knocked out cold. So I went right to bed afterward. It's not good for you to do that. I don't do that anymore. So, but this is a different story. Right off the bat, I poured them the same. Which one's more carbonated? Trillium beers are not that carbonated, guys. On record, they are definitely a little more on the lacking carbonation side, a little bit flatter. But there, I poured them again, the exact same. The glasses are a little different, but shouldn't really be much of a factor there. But there's your comparison, at least on carbonation. You definitely get a poppier beer with Pseudo Sue here. Let's get some aromas on these. Really nice. I mean, 4 Point's a great beer. It really is. Orange, peach, pineapple, a little grapefruit, and a little pine. I love the white peach thing going on in this. It definitely has a white peach. Really good. Really clean. Nice. Let's see how this is. Again, Pseudo Sue, a little old, but let's see how it smells anyway. Not much. Has this beer gone bad in terms of hoppiness? I hope not. A little bit of lemon essence, a little bit of citrus. This might be a dead review, actually. Well, let me try the Pseudo Sue first. I just want to get a clean taste of this. Maybe it's a little past the shelf life I desire for a pale ale like this. It's still really pleasant, but I think the hops have subdued a little on this already. Very crisp and clean, though, really, really clean. I'm definitely getting a pineapple thing going on here. Excellent mouthfeel. A little lemon pith, a little grapefruit, a little pineapple. It's still cold, but it definitely tastes like the hops are starting to die out in this one. This is the last can I had of it, so I had one chance to do this really. It's good. It's really enjoyable, really crisp, clean. This is a great midday beer, lunchtime beer, excellent choice. You can't go wrong with Pseudo Sue. Could have a little bit more flavor, fresh. When it was fresher, I even know that it does because I have these beers. fairly often, and this is one of my shelf beers. I have this on tap all the time from my supermarket. They carry it a bunch, but the problem is they don't always have fresh cans. So this last batch was just a little bit on the older side by the time I've gotten to this can. Trillium. Thicker. I mean, Trillium has so much weight to their beer. I mean, there's a very nice, there's a slight gravy quality, like literally when you compare it side to side, and this has nothing to do with the age of the beer, it's the malt profile. Like Trillium tastes like oatmeal. And this is just like, you know, a light carbonated beverage. And this has like a gravy component. Like it's noticeably maltier in the Trillium. Nice fruit profile. I would say this is get a little younger. I can tell the hops are still here. Nice. Grapefruit, orange, a little bit of peach. You get a slight candied peach note, like a slight older fruit flavor, which is when you're calling it the candied fruit, over ripened, a little sweeter. I can get that here. You have some of that sweetness coming through, like a orange candy, a little bit. It's there. But definitely not as carbonated. I can immediately tell the difference. This is much more peppy on the mouth. It has less gravy. Like it has a, I hate to say it, this is definitely the smoother drink. It's not even comparable. Like the Toppling Goliath goes down so easy. We're going to get a little bit more out here. Okay, we're going to let that recede a little. Again, the Trillium is only 2 weeks old, and the Toppling Goliath is over 3 months old. Again, we got to really just understand that. But again, look at the difference. I poured them both straight out. Look at the difference. I mean, again, this is a great opportunity to see how beers, even in the same category, can differ. Like, this is a different result. This is literally, you understand that there is a difference in the carbonation profile here. Again, am I usually pouring a pale ale like this? No. But with Trillium, you can pour aggressively and you still only get a finger or so of it. I'm not the brewer, but Trillium's beers notoriously have been undercarbonated for the past couple years now. They've cut back on the use of CO2. There's something going on. This is also the first Trillium I've gotten in a grocery store. They do limited shipments locally, but I've never seen them on a shelf around, in my town. And I'm not far from the brewery. I don't want to get this. Like, I live very close to these guys, but I haven't seen them in a grocery store yet. So I found this in a grocery store, liquor store. And so this is the first time I've seen that. Ooh, wait a minute. Real pine candy now. Like that I poured more of it out. Hang on. Pine candy. Big time. Grapefruit and white peach. And yeah, maybe some clementine. It's really pleasant. Again, it's just a thicker beverage. The word is chalky. There is a soupy component in that. It tastes like maybe there's some flaked oats in here which I think Trillium does use oats in a lot of their malt profiles. Oats do add a bready component. Same, like similar to wheat beer. Like wheat beer also has a component. I don't know if there's wheat in this. It wouldn't shock me if there's an additional starch adjunct in here that is beyond just the malt. There could be a thickening agent, a syrup, or it's oats. I know they've used oats in their beer, flaked oats. It just tastes like it's in. Like I actually can kind of taste it. Again, with this, it's a little thicker, a little less carbonated. It's a little more gravy-like. Nice, crisp, clean citrus aspect. A little bit of bearing hop on the back, a little pininess. Very clean, very crisp. That's really good. That's clean. That's really clean. The drinkability is so good on the Toppling Goliath. This, and even, I'm going to say this, even the factor that it's not that malty. I thought that a 3+ month old pale ale was going to be a malt bomb. This isn't bad. This is actually still very citrusy. The malts are not taking away. Now, if this was another month older, yes, you would start tasting the pasta water shit. Anyone who doesn't know, like old hop forward beer to me develops a pasta flavor, and it just ruins it. Like you get that pasta malty thing, and it takes away from that citrus bomb you're looking for. So I want to stress that this wouldn't last forever. It would age out at some point. That's delicious, though. That has a better. I mean, look, the Trillium is delicious. I don't want to like start a fight here. Trillium is delicious, but it almost tastes twice as thick. This has oatmeal in it. Like this has weight. And again, when it's harder when you're just comparing pale ale to IPA, like within a brewery, like of course the IPA will be heavier. But when I'm comparing these two side by side, this tastes twice as heavy. I don't know if I like that in this style. This tastes like an IPA. This tastes like a pale ale. This is what I'm expecting. The malt profile here is light as a pillow. It is so light and vibrant and citrusy. This has a weight, a malty weight that I think might take away from the end result now that I'm comparing them side by side. One more test here. Anyway, that is so refreshing. That's so clean and refreshing. There's that little pep in the carbonation. It feels more balanced to me. Last pours. Gonna show this off here, like show you guys what we're dealing with. Last pours. Now, the last pour, I didn't get much head out of the. I mean, the Pseudo-Sue's been open for a while, but like, look, Trillium, a little bit. More of an impressive pour there. But guys, look at the lacing. Look, I'm just saying, like, something at Trillium's department, something happened. I don't. Trillium's never had the biggest lacing on their glasses, but to have zero lacing on a light beer like this, I don't know, man. Something's off with it's either their yeast or their malt. Like, this head is its own entity. Like, it's sticking. It's like there's an iceberg on top. This is not really separating from the beer and leaving a lacing. Now, there's a little lacing there. You can see that, right? There we go. We got some lacing, but is it going to be, like, if I do this, is it going to be as good? Let's see. Let's just do this back and forth. Let's test the lacing and see what happens. I'm curious. We got a chance to test it. I'm going to do the whole freaking thing. All right, we've really soaked up the glass, and let's see. I mean, which one had better lacing? Yeah, it's stuck on. So, I mean, there's some now happening on Trillium. You can see that. It's trying, but not as much as the Toppling Goliath. And again, I want to stress, this has not aged as much. It is hoppier. I have to respect that. It could influence the mouthfeel a little bit, but typically mouthfeel is independent of a beer's age. The malt doesn't really age, maybe a little, but thick. That's really thick. For it's not like thick compared to a stout, but it's thick compared to this. That is absolutely heavier and thicker than this. This is definitely more refreshing. And because when I'm drinking a pale ale, I want the beer to be refreshing. Your winner is Pseudo Sue. Yep. Trillium, you didn't win this one. A couple years ago, maybe I would have preferred your Fort Point, but not now. And I'm actually, like, it's really opening my eyes to what, I have found that Trillium's quality has been a little bit less consistent since the pandemic. During pandemic, like, I've noticed something happen. The carbonation problem is the biggest issue. Like, I know that something happened in their brewing process. Something happened just to their hoppy beer, though. It's not like they're taking the yeast and the carbonation efforts into other beers. Their stouts are still my favorite. And their sours, they have some awesome sours and fruit-forward beers that are fucking delicious. But their IPA, something has happened. I don't know what it is. If they're cheaping out, if they're allocating their ingredients to other beer styles and they don't want to focus as much on hoppy beer anymore. Maybe Treehouse is being too much of a competition and they don't want to compete with Treehouse as aggressively. Because Treehouse is the number one IPA maker. There's no debate. Treehouse makes the best IPA. I will go on record saying that. But again, I think Trillium makes the best stout. I have not had a stout better than Trillium's barrel-aged stouts. They are absolutely night and day. I recently had it. It is it is so good. It's so chocolatey and rich and delicious. I know that these guys are world-class beer makers, but something has happened. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just out of touch with them, but that is thick without needing to be thick. I don't need all that thickness there. Like, this is a pale ale. I don't know why it's so thick. It's heavy. It's like oatmeal water. It's like oatmeal water. Like you've soaked the water with oats and you get that oatmeal water consistency. It's exactly what it's like. Why chew like this? So easygoing and bright. Citrusy, bright, and light. That's exactly what I'm looking for in a pale ale. This is way too heavy for a pale ale. When I'm reviewing this for real, I'm reviewing it for real. I don't care that the Toppling Goliath is older. I can tell that there's some weird use of malt in here that I don't dig for the style as much. Am I saying that this is a bad beer? No. Fort Point is a great beer. But this is my most like ruthless reviewer mode. I'm like, no bullshit. I'm going right to the source here and really comparing the profiles I'm seeing here. And that is very apparent to me that this has added malt for no reason. I don't know why the oat or whatever they're using in here is here. I don't get it. It doesn't need that unless you're trying to hide something. Unless you're not as carbonated, it has a heavier, maltier thickness. And there's a nice, like, orange sherbet kind of thing. That's how I would explain it, orange sherbet. But it doesn't, again, it's like kind of the vibrance, the brightness, the citrusiness is kind of, it doesn't get bright enough. Like, it's murky thickness. And that's how I like to describe it. It's like riper orange sherbet, but it's not like getting to the pineapple, mango, like the bright. When you're talking, for those of you who aren't used to beer reviews or beer testing, what's interesting, what you can do on hoppy beer in particular, there's something called brightness. What is brightness? What do we mean by brightness? Brightness is the hop profile. A brighter hop is going to have a more pure citrus taste. Like you've squeezed out the grapefruit, the orange, the lemon, the pineapple juice, and the brighter, the more that like pure juice flavor comes out without any other factor. Just the pure squeezed juice flavor, and the brightness goes up, right? So, and if you can taste that crisp, clean fruit juice, that's a very bright beer, right? This is not very bright. It's a little more malty and hoppy, but it's not as bright. The fruit notes that come out they're locked into a malty orange cake, hoppy pine orange cake. They're not bright. Mouth, palate cleansing, refreshing, like lemonade, like refreshment. You get that refreshing character. Way more refreshing. I taste all over my mouth, my tongue, everywhere. I get these like bright fruit notes. That's a bright beer. This is not bright. In fact, I'm actually kind of shocked now. The more I've reviewed and thought about it, like I notice a gap here in this style. Pseudo Sue is clearly superior. I thought they were like neck and neck. Pseudo Sue is what a pale ale should be. Again, I'm talking about pale ale. I'm not talking about anything else. The lightness, the refreshingness, the crisp fruitiness. Trillium's is way too bready and held down. It's almost not even pleasant to drink the Trillium next to the Pseudo. I hate to say that, but there's just a thick muddiness to that. Like it's not bright at all. It's not prickling my, like it goes down on the tongue. You get a gravy thing, but it doesn't light up my mouth. But this one, there's flavor. I can taste flavor all throughout my palate. I taste fruity juice characters all throughout my mouth. That when you feel that all over, that's a bright beer. Your winner, definitively, is Pseudo Sue. Absolutely, with even an older can, I like better. This is past, typically at this point, I wouldn't drink this beer 3+ months old, but it is still delicious and better than Trillium. Now, again, if you go, I did Trillium reviews about 5 years ago. I was the biggest Trillium fan probably around. I was near their brewery. And pre-pandemic, I feel like their beers were just in that top category. They were the top of the line stuff. Not all of them, but a lot of their beers were top of the line. This 4 Point does not amaze me. Now that I'm seeing it here compared, and it's a fresh can, like it's 2 weeks old, this should be like prime pale ale territory. No. I don't agree with the approach to the style. And I wasn't the biggest pale ale guy a couple of years ago, but now with my lifestyle changing and I'm looking to not drink as much as I used to. And there's a lot of reasons why drinking in moderation is important, especially as you get older. I sound like an old man, but I'm no spring chicken, right? So like, you gotta look at life and like think about the future. Pale ale is a great style as you get older because it is, first of all, calorically, it's not as bad as a pure IPA, one of those bigger imperial IPAs or stouts or anything like that. But on top of that, you can find some really refreshing and good ones. This Pseudo Sue is, I think it's reclaimed. I had Pseudo Sue when I was drinking Trillium stuff. I actually did a head-to-head of King Sue versus Cutting Tiles with Citra. And back pre-pandemic, I said that Trillium won that category. I have the video up and you can go see it, right? The Cutting Tiles with Citra to me was way more impactful and flavorful, and it felt more worth my money, I guess you could say. I think that with time, I'm looking at drinkability more than just raw flavor. How smooth. I'm now looking at smoothness as a really big factor in how good a beer is. And maybe that comes with age. Like maybe when I was a younger buck, I was drinking that shit like, and the Trilliums tasted like average. They didn't taste too heavy. But now, very really nice brightness, drinkability combo there. Like so good. Man, it's a real shame. That is like noticeably different. I'm sure of it. Pseudo Sue is better than 4 Point, and I'm like putting that on the map. Like it's better. So Pseudo Sue, Cop and Goliath, you guys got your A game. Like I've like really liked their dinosaur line. I guess you could call it the dinosaur line. But they have the Sue series, right? They got Pseudo Sue, they got King Sue. I think they have some other ones which I can't get around here, but this is the number one pale ale that I can think of. I don't think Trillium or even Treehouse makes a better pale ale. I think, again, from even a 3-month-old can, which you wouldn't think it's like, the brightness is still there. It's so crisp, clean, and balanced. And it's fruity and vibrant, and it's light. I'm really glad I did this because it taught me something today. Like it taught me when, I think pale ale is just pale ale, and it's like it's all relative. It's a light style. They're not using as much ingredients. How different could a pale ale be compared to another pale ale? I didn't think I would experience this much of a difference between two pale ales that are, similar reputations. Pseudo Sue wins, and there it is.